Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really great guest on today. He's a designer, strategist, and educator dancing between design, culture, pedagogy, and socially engaged art. His practice integrates and reframes design beyond aesthetics. He's interested in how design can serve as a catalyst for meaningful social change, informed by his Liberian heritage and a commitment to counterculture ideals. He believes in the regenerative power of creativity to reimagine what is possible and to shape more inclusive and sustainable futures. Please join me in welcoming Nu Goteh. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Thomas.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
I am ready for 20 questions and maybe even 21.
Great. Question one. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
I operate in a couple of different spaces. The main thing I would say I do is I am a doula. I'm a creative doula. My job is to create the best conditions for people, ideas, and communities to thrive. The lens that I do that through is usually through design, and I use design as a vehicle of creating those conditions.
Nice, I love it. Question two. What's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Um, I would say it's a lack of knowledge. It's my naivete, which is the lack of knowledge. And I use naivete as an opportunity in the vehicle to step into spaces that I may not have the permission to, but guided by naivete and curiosity and illusion of grandeur, I usually end up finding some way to thrive within that space.
Nice, love it. Just a quick note for the audience, if you guys are interested in big episodes this year, check out the episode with Kareem Rashid. Question three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I have an instinct to always create. I'm always in a place that I want to create, and I'm usually not satisfied. And that me not being satisfied drives me to create things that I feel affirm me. And then that scope has widened throughout the years to want to affirm others and create conditions for others to find their ways to create things that affirm them.
Very cool. Question four, some people struggle with, but the question is, what does your future look like?
My future looks really bright. I can start with my present. My present is I refuse not to thrive. I refuse not to grow. I refuse not to be bold. And so the future is me fulfilling that prophecy. And so the future looks like me transcending and not being limited by resources, job description, physical being, and being able to find spaces that I can insert joy.
Very cool. Five, we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
I think place is super important. Part of my work is occupies the space of what you would call place making. And place for me is less about location specifically and more about a shared mindset. And so, in that, I'm often trying to find people who also share outlook that I share, and then using that to foster what I would consider to be place. And so, if we need to talk about physically, I'm in LA and it's currently 83 degrees and it feels like it's summer. And that's also affording me the opportunity to step outside and stand outside for a bit, which is also a distraction for me as well.
Nice. You're starting from the beginning. What advice would you give your former younger self?
I would tell my former younger self, hang in there, and this too shall pass. So, meaning the things that are great and that are good, um, enjoy them while you can, because that too shall pass. And the things that suck and that are bad, don't meddle in it for too long because it's also temporary as well.
Seven, what's a day in your life like?
I wake up at 6 and I negotiate with myself if I am going to doom scroll or if I'm going to get up. I go walk my dog and call somebody. I heckle either a friend or family for 30 minutes while walking my dog, get home, take a shower, get my daughter up, sing her a song to wake her up so she wakes up on the right side of the bed, and then hand her over to my wife, drive to my studio, uh, take 30 minutes to try to look at email to figure out what I'm going to respond to. And then I'm in mostly back to back meetings up until 5 or 6 or maybe like 3, and then I get some desk work done, and then I head home and hang out with my wife and my daughter until I fall asleep on the couch around 9 and do that all over again.
Nice. 8 is around lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
Lifelong learning. I stay up to date a couple of ways. One, I am constantly putting myself in situations that are uncomfortable for me. And so, whether that's work or personally, I tend to find curiosity being a vehicle that will move me towards learning. Another way is that I have a people that I could consider mentees. And what's great about that is that as they're asking me for outlook and perspective, I'm also learning from them the things that they care and are concerned or cautious about, in which, in even talking through what my perspective is, I'm also learning. And then I have a pretty strong media habit of listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, and reading.
Hmm. Tools. Do you use both digital and analog tools?
Yes, yes. I use a lot of digital tools right now. My favorite tool for capturing ideas is Arena. I use Arena a lot to
Mm.
be able to, and for those who don't know, Arena is a social bookmarking website in which it's like Pinterest, but it's more geared towards designers and researchers. And so I use Arena as like the main tool to help retain a wealth of information and tap into that information when needed.
Sweet. And 10, work-life balance, life-work balance. How do you deal with it?
I shut off. I shut off at night, and I shut off at night in terms of intentionally putting on do not disturb. And so some people may know if you text me in the evening, I may not get back to you until the morning, or I may not get back to you for a couple of days. There is an urgency that I have around work, but then there also is an urgency that I have around my life, and I try to keep those things um, on par. It's hard because I found and run a creative studio, co-found a journal, and do a lot of speaking engagement and teach. But I try to just find ways to make sure I'm compartmentalizing those things. But also, I accept that there's never really a balance of those things, that they ebb and flow just based off of what's coming at me. And so that's a way how I don't set unrealistic expectations for myself.
Great. And if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
I would, okay, if I wasn't doing what I do now, in the ideal world, I would probably, oh, that's a good question. I would most likely, see, I thought I came into this with all the answers, and now you got a question that's making me think a bit more. If I wasn't doing what I do now, I would, hmm, I would probably be teaching full time. I'll probably be working in academia full time.
Hmm. Nice. Good answer. What would you not like to do with your career?
I would not like that my career supersedes me as a person,
Hmm.
because I think before a career, I'm new, and new is dynamic and has many interests that evolve and continue to evolve. And I would not want a career or career trajectory to lock me into a linear path that doesn't suit or feed me as a person.
Sweet. And how about a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
A word, quote, or sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess a quote um that I play to myself often, and which was said to me by a mentor of mine, a former director of mine. The only thing between you and the job you want is the job you have. So the only way around it is through it. And so the things that you don't like that cause you discomfort usually is the path that you need to take.
Mm. How about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Least favorite word code sentence. It is what it is
Mm.
because it's not
You're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word do you choose?
considered.
What keeps you up at night?
Uh, Trying to make payroll.
Final stretch here. What's a dream you're chasing?
The dream I'm chasing is a dream of transcending and being able to garner enough resources, which is time, capital, connections that will allow for me to enable other people to reach and fulfill the dreams that they're chasing.
How about what inspires you?
People inspire me and their ability to dream and curiosity. And so that's why even when I mention like having mentees, I'm always inspired if somebody has the audacity and the ability to find my email and to just email me to ask me a question.
Hmm. And 19, any advice you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think that the world that we currently live in is a world that somebody else has imagined. We're living in somebody else's imagination. I would love if we all took the time to imagine the world that we want to live in and understand that the ability to think and ideate about a desired future increases the likelihood of that desired future coming to be.
And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
So you can keep tabs on me by either I have a website that has all my links. So if you go to www.nugoteh, NUGOTEH.com, that's my website. But the studio, Room for Magic, you can go to that website, ROOMFORMAGIC, Room for Magic, to keep tabs in terms of our design strategy and creative work, and then our publication Deem Journal, DEEMJORNAL.com, to be able to keep tabs on our publishing of design as a social practice. And the call to action is do not let anyone stop you from dreaming and achieving those dreams and thriving. So, yeah.
Awesome. Super refreshing answers. Thanks so much. Really
Cool.
appreciate you coming on.
Awesome. Thank you. This was so quick and efficient.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Do you know